Hello. Welcome back to The Exhausted CPA. I'm your host, the CPA who loves numbers and hates unnecessary effort. Today we'll be talking about retiring at 55. The good, the bad, and the ugly? Let's dive in.
Have you ever noticed that retiring at 55 sounds amazing in one sentence and complicated in the next? It is one of those ages that lives in people's heads almost like a finish line painted in gold. 55 means freedom. No alarm clock. No Monday meetings. No asking for PTO. Just you, your time, and the life you've been planning for years. And to be fair, if you can pull that off, that is a huge accomplishment. But here's the part that often gets skipped over in the dream version of the story. If you walk away from work at 55, Social Security does not walk out with you. So today, I want to talk through what really happens to your Social Security if you retire at 55, what changes, what does not, and what trade-offs are hiding under the surface. Because early retirement is not just about having enough money to stop working. It is also about understanding which income streams start now, which ones start later, and which ones may end up smaller than you expected. First, let's give credit where it is due. Retiring at 55 is early by almost any standard. Most people do not retire that soon. It takes planning, discipline, and usually years of intentional saving to make that possible. So if that is your goal or you are already close to it, you are not talking about an ordinary retirement path. You are talking about building a bridge most people never even attempt. And that bridge matters because if you retire at 55, you are stepping away years before Social Security is available to you. For most people, the earliest you can claim retirement benefits is 62. Full retirement age for people born in 1960 or later is 67. And if you wait all the way until 70, your monthly benefit reaches its maximum. After 70, there is no extra reward for waiting longer. So if you stop working at 55, you are creating a gap. At minimum, that gap is about 7 years from 55 to 62. At the long end, it could be 15 years from 55 to 70. That means your portfolio, your savings, your pension if you have one, your taxable brokerage account, your 401k, maybe a Roth conversion plan, maybe access through the rule of 55, all of that has to carry the load before Social Security ever shows up. That is the first big reality check. Retiring at 55 is not just a question of whether you can afford retirement in general. It is a question of whether you can fund the opening chapter yourself. Think of Social Security like a train that is running on its own schedule. You can choose which station to board at, but you cannot make it arrive early just because you left work sooner. If you get off the job at 55, the train is still not stopping for you until at least 62. So the first issue is not even your Social Security amount. It is whether your own resources can cover those years in between. Now, once you get past that question, the next issue is how much your Social Security benefit will actually be when you do claim it. This is where a lot of people assume retiring early automatically wrecks their Social Security. That is not always true, but it can lower your benefit in a couple of important ways. Social Security bases your benefit on your 35 highest earning years. That number matters a lot. If you already have 35 years of earnings on the books by the time you retire at 55, then you are not introducing blank years into the formula. In a simple example, if you started working around age 20 and had earnings every year through 55, you would already have 35 years. In that case, retiring at 55 does not mean Social Security starts counting zeros after that and dragging everything down just because you stopped working. But if you retire before you have 35 years of earnings, then yes, that becomes a problem. Because Social Security still wants 35 years for the calculation. And if you only gave it 30 working years, the other 5 slots do not stay empty. They get filled with zeros, and zeros are heavy. They pull down your average, which pulls down the benefit built on top of that average. So imagine someone earned about $50,000 per year on average for 30 years. They may have built a solid work history, but Social Security is still spreading those earnings across a 35-year calculation. That means those 5 missing years act like anchors in the math. The result is a lower average indexed monthly earnings figure, and that leads to a lower monthly benefit. That difference may not seem catastrophic in every case, but it can still matter. It could mean the difference between one monthly benefit amount and another that is a couple $100s lower. And over a long retirement, a couple $100s a month is real money. So the first question is, do you already have 35 earnings years by the time you retire? If the answer is no, retiring at 55 can definitely trim down your Social Security. But even if the answer is yes, there is still another layer to think about. Because Social Security does not just care that you have 35 years, it cares which 35 years those are. And this is where the opportunity cost of retiring early really shows up. For many people, the early years of work are the lean years. Your 20s may have been filled with entry-level jobs, lower pay, part-time periods, or career trial and error. Then later on, as your career matures, your income rises. Your 40s and 50s are often your strongest earning years. That means the years right before retirement are often your best ammunition for improving your Social Security benefit. If you keep working and earning more, those stronger income years can push out older, weaker earning years from your top 35. Picture it like this. Social Security keeps your best 35 snapshots. If one of your old snapshots is blurry and low paid, and a newer one is sharper and much higher paid, the new one can replace it. That swap helps you. But if you retire at 55, you may stop taking better snapshots right when they are getting the most valuable. So even if you already have 35 years, leaving work early can still mean giving up the chance to upgrade your record. Let's say you started your career making $40,000 a year, and by your mid-50s, you are making $100,000 a year. If you work a few more years at that higher income, those years can knock out some of your earlier, lower paid years in the Social Security formula. That can increase your future benefit. If you retire at 55 instead, you may lock in an older version of your earnings history. That does not mean retiring early is a mistake. It just means there is a price attached to it, and that price is often hidden because it is not a bill you receive in the mail. It is an opportunity you give up quietly. Then there is the claiming decision itself. Retiring at 55 and claiming Social Security are not the same decision. You can retire at 55 and still wait until 62 to claim. You can retire at 55 and wait until 67. You can retire at 55 and hold off until 70. And each of those choices changes your monthly benefit. If you claim at 62, you are taking a reduced benefit compared with full retirement age. If your full retirement age is 67, claiming at 62 means you are starting early and accepting a permanent reduction. If instead you wait past full retirement age, your benefit grows. Up to age 70, delayed retirement credits can increase what you receive. After that, the growth stops, so retiring at 55 actually creates two separate planning puzzles. Puzzle number 1, how do you fund the years before Social Security starts? Puzzle number 2, what claiming age gives you the right balance between getting money sooner and getting a larger monthly check later, and those two decisions affect each other. If your investments are strong and you do not need Social Security right away, you may be comfortable waiting longer to claim. If your portfolio is under more pressure, you may want Social Security to start earlier, even if that means a smaller monthly amount. That is why there is no universal best age to claim. The best age depends on the rest of your financial picture. Now, there's one more detail that is easy to overlook but worth mentioning. Social Security does adjust earlier earnings when calculating your benefit. Income earned before age 60 is indexed to reflect changes in wage levels over time. Earnings after age 60 are generally not adjusted the same way. That is part of the formula working behind the scenes. But the bigger practical takeaway for most people is still this. If you retire at 55, you need to look at more than just whether you have enough saved. You also want to ask, how many earnings years do I actually have? Will retiring now leave zeros in my 35-year record? Would a few more working years replace lower earning years and improve my benefit? And how many years am I prepared to fund on my own before Social Security begins? Those are the questions that make this real. Because for some people, Social Security is going to be a major pillar of retirement income. In that case, getting the timing wrong or underestimating the impact of early retirement could create stress later on. For others, especially aggressive savers and investors, Social Security may be more like a bonus layer than the foundation. If that is you, then a somewhat smaller benefit might not change your life much. It may simply be the trade you are willing to make in exchange for getting your time back earlier. And that is really what this comes down to. Retiring at 55 is not automatically good or bad for Social Security. It is more like making a trade. You are potentially buying freedom sooner, but the price may be years of self-funding, fewer high-income years in your record, or a smaller benefit if you do not have the full 35 years. For some people, that trade is absolutely worth it. For others, working a few extra years can strengthen the whole plan. So if 55 is your target, do not just ask, can I retire? Also ask, what am I locking in if I do? That one question can completely change how you look at the decision. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is 55 your dream retirement age, or would you rather work longer and build a bigger cushion? And if early retirement is your goal, how much does Social Security factor into your plan?
If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe, and also share with someone who it can help. Please remember, I make these videos for educational purposes only, and these videos are not tax or investment advice. See you next time.